long story short, I became a scientific materialist, and I started not even
scientific
materialist. So I only believe in things
matter.
that can be sort of described or quantified.
You believe in matter, or you believe in what matters?
So even the concept of, and I'm very open to that. I would love to see a ghost right now, because a ghost would like upend my world. I think I've already mentioned this at one point or another. Break my understanding of reality. I invite you to, because that would be make it so much more exciting. Like, oh, turns out all of these things that kind of like, I stopped being superstitious. I stopped being, fearing the unknown. I don't go into the woods and I'm afraid of a witch.
Right.
Blair Witch Project or anything like that. Those things for me stopped existing. Like the funny Slenderman memes and all of these, or the monster movies or the spirit movies. Like they have no place because there is nothing to back those things up. And there's people who will pay a lot of money if you demonstrate that. So it's the incentives to show those things are there. You have to quantify it. Let's take the concept of soul, right? You have a soul that is a part of your body. It has to be in a way quantifiable, even if we can't measure it today because we don't have the tools. The same way we couldn't observe ultraviolet radiation or infrared radiation. We didn't know what radio waves were, or like until we had the technology to see those things. But in the nature of our universe, correct me if I'm mistaken, but there needs to be some transmission of something. Things don't just pop into existence or out of existence. And that's technically not true, because like at a very subatomic level, apparently this happens all the time. An argument for, no, there's a soul in. But taking the most classical approach, most things need to, even light needs to travel, right? Things need to go from one place to another. If we're talking about going to heaven or going to another dimension or there needs to be something that moves from point A to point B, right? And until you can quantify that and you can measure that and you understand that...
You need to see it to believe it.
Yeah, well, sure.
You're a skeptic.
I guess.
It's...
You can convince me with logic, facts, and evidence, for sure. And I will always change my mind if I held a wrong belief that if I held a belief that gets proven wrong, if you can prove it. The problem is a lot of the burdens of proof don't hold up to scrutiny. It's a different form to prove. But the existence of God is always proved to the people who believe in it by ways that science...
What about the people that didn't believe it and started believing because of something that happened in their life?
But the thing that happened in their lives wasn't
sure
the curing
there are a lot
of the
of
amputee.
Atheists out there, a lot of scientific materialists that became
and a lot of religious people that became non-believers. It's a two-way street, and I'm just an example. I'm not telling everybody to stop believing or whatever is worth it to you, and whatever it's enough for you, so be it.
Whatever tickles your biscuit.
Whatever is enough for you is a proof. If you see God in everything, in the simplest of life forms, and or if you think, oh, this is too perfect for it to just be just a product of trillions of errors and just like chaos.
Maybe some people just don't need God to go through
life. Yeah, well, that's also true.
I need God. I felt like I needed.
Right.
I needed to cultivate that idea in my life in order to become a better person. I felt that need.
Yeah, and it's valid. It's valid. I'm not going to take that away from anybody ever.
And I see the difference in my life already.
I convolute
after
that.
I started looking for God, and even though sometimes I was a little, let's say, contentious, and I would challenge God and say, well, why don't you reveal yourself to me? And then I would say, why would I be worthy of that revelation if God never really showed himself to anybody here in this material world, let's say the material realm? Why would I be worthy? Maybe it's on me to start understanding the signs of God when he tries to show me his truth and when he tries to show me his existence. I need to do my part too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like through prayer, I was really able to connect, and things started expanding. My beliefs and my faith started expanding, and I felt like I was more open to certain signs, you know, whether it was from other people, from nature, from situations, you know, that just happen in a crazy magical way. And I've you know, I felt like I had to be open to that.
Right.
And then you can reason with me and say, well, maybe you're just making yourself believe. I'm like, okay, that's valid.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
you speak things into existence, or you think things into existence. You know, I heard one phrase one time: if God is absolute, there's no opposing force, right? It makes sense. If God is
so there's no
absolute,
yin to the God yang.
there's no opposing force. Let's say God is absolute, and God allows chaos and order to exist. But God is something that is outside of that idea of existence. You know, if I made an iPhone, I cannot be inside the iPhone. I have to be something that is separate from this creation here, from this system.
Yeah, you're not part of the
You
iPhone.
know, I'm not. So God is something that covers all of it. It covers all existence in a way. It's infinite. It's the infinite energy. It's the infinite existence.
Right.
So if there is good and evil, it's because God allows good and evil to manifest. But I believe that it's also about the way we perceive things and what we allow it to manifest in our lives. Let's say if you allow evil to manifest in your life, you know, it will manifest. But if you allow good, it's that metaphor, you know, that analogy to what you cultivate, what you feed in your life, you know, the good wolf, the bad wolf. But I got lost in my thoughts here, but that's kind of the idea. Like after I started being more open to that revelation, I feel like it happened at some point, you know. Knock, knock, and it shall be open. What's the seek and you shall find? Ask and you shall find the answer.
Yeah.
Knock and it shall be open unto you. Something like that, along those lines. So I feel like that's the path. If you want to find God, you have to seek God, you know.
Right.
Because also we have freedom of
not finding
the free will, you know.
I would say to all of that
You got to feel the need to it.
There is power in believing.
I kicked the microphone. Sorry.
It's all good. It won't kick you back unless God would manifest it that way. I would say there's power in belief. Like the placebo effect is real, right? Our thoughts kind of skew a lot of our internal chemistry, our brain processes, and the attention. If you're looking for the same thing every day, everywhere, your attention is much more in tune, and you're gonna make connections, whether they exist, they're real, or they're not. And when you walk through the world with very strong convictions, that's gonna shape how you see the world. So whatever you believe. That's why I keep saying that I'm kind of an inconsistent person, because I hold some beliefs. I don't live my life according to those beliefs at all. I still play the game. Whatever that game is, I'm still around to play it, even though that my beliefs contradict that. And maybe it's a circumstance thing. Maybe it's a cowardice thing, because I'm not brave enough to actually follow those things, because they would mean such a paradigm shift in everything, and that's not easy for people to do. Just decide, but some people do decide, and they just walk away, or they just completely append what the direction that they're going, and that's totally fine. But I would say that the point of view does really skew your perception of the world, and so I couldn't agree more when you say seek and you shall find, because you will find if you're always looking for the something. And if I'm trying to frame everything through the lens of God, and
I'm
everything,
looking for $200 million.
well, you're not looking in the right places or all the time. Neither am I, even though I would, in theory, would love to get those. But that's, I won't deny it. I see it happen. People of faith, they carry themselves in a way, and they deliver themselves in a way that people without faith could never. And it doesn't matter what you're believing is real or not in an absolute sense. It still has the effect, which it's really the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like buying, in a skewed metaphor, to quote my favorite South Park, it's kind of like buying the book that Lance Armstrong wrote about, his life story that was so inspiring to so many people, right? The effect of the inspiration. People were actually moved. People changed their lives. People got better. And he served the example. Turns out the whole story was a lie.
Yeah.
He just, did drugs and shit. But
So
it's
what
so
was the Lance
interesting.
Armstrong thing?
So Lance Armstrong had testicular cancer.
Yeah.
And he was one of the best, world champion, Tour de France, one of the greatest
Yeah.
cyclists. He goes through cancer. He does chemo,
I remember
He
the
loses
little
bracelet.
bracelets. Yeah,
So that's
Live Strong.
Yeah, the cancer, people have colors and badges, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
awareness, and every cancer has its own color, right?
Mm-hmm.
So testicular cancer, very unfortunate. He loses a testicle. Testicles, obviously, give you testosterone. And he went back, and he had the story that came back from that, and was the champion again.
Yeah.
Right? Which is against all odds. Like, this is an elite sport. It's crazy. Endurance is one of the hardest things that you can do as an athlete, is to freaking do the 200-mile race or whatever. And he comes back and he wins it, and he won under the guise that he did it all through hard work.
Right.
But turns out he used performance enhancement drugs. I'm not sure if he was juicing, had like, or
Is
if
it
he
the
was just
legal
the
ones
doping,
or the illegal ones?
right? Or the doping.
According to my athlete friends, they say, well, you have a list of 5,000 substances that are illegal.
5,000?
Yeah,
Damn.
but you have another list of 10,000 substances that do the exact same thing as those 5,000 that are allowed. So you only get caught in the doping. How do you say
Doping.
that? Doping exam if you don't know, if you're stupid.
So I forget, but the idea,
I don't know if that's true or not, but
I think we've established that I don't really have a photographic memory of everything that happens, but I remember bits and pieces, and they tend to be sort of like in the ballpark. So what I think that Lance Armstrong did, and a lot of people in that world do, and they try not to get caught, is that they either get like, they do transfusions, they do blood transfusions with blood that's hyper oxygenated. So you have the red blood cells either have more red blood cells, or they've been pre-pumped, or they save their own blood. I think that actually might be this. They save their own blood before the competitions, and then they do a refueling, because this is such an endurance muscle. There's the whole breathing process and the whole energy generating process needs oxygen. And so if you have if you have good blood that's not desaturated, and because you just did a lap or just did the whole race, you can enhance your performance by shooting back some blood that you saved it is crazy.
just
right?
imagine like those athletes like in a freaking laboratory with a bunch of scientists.
Yeah.
And they're like, Captain America when it turns into Captain America. I just imagine kind of that, like with a bunch of tubes and liquids going inside and blood. I'm like, what the?
How crazy is that? And this is frowned upon here in the West, but in Russia, I hear from watching some podcasts or whatever, that's the regular. Everybody does it. If you don't do it, you're dumb, kind of thing. And it's sanctioned, and the whole like the holier than thou, the moral high ground for the US is like you do it and you don't get caught and you act all righteous because you did it all by yourself. And in Russia, apparently, if I'm not misremembering, it's like everybody cheats. Do it as well. Like don't they pretend not to, but they're doing
Right.
the same thing everybody's doing, and you're doing. Everybody does it. Therefore, it becomes part of the culture, and I think that's kind of funny. So yeah, but back to the case in point, we were saying that he did all these things. He sold the world this story of overcoming extreme adversity and coming out on top, and that inspired millions of people. He sold I don't know how many copies of the book, and he was an icon.
Yeah.
And this, and only Oprah to get him to confess to this on live freaking television, because that's
Wow.
what happened.
Yeah.
Oprah opened the door, and he willingly and willfully confessed that he took this off
Like
his
the Liver
shoulder.
King guy.
Like the Liver King, just like the Liver King minus the Oprah.
Oh
And
my
it's so
gosh,
like,
dude.
now what? You just pulled the rug from under me. Like everything that I believed turns out to be a lie.
Yeah.
But the real truth that everybody should hold on to is like the power to change was inside of you all along. It was just an external factor that made you see that. But at the end of the day, the person changed. The person used.
That's the power of redemption.
Sure. The power of belief, the power of
of
projection,
of
like the
virtue,
how
too.
our mind works.
I mean, the
and how
fact
it
that he
affects our
came
reality.
out and confessed.
Yeah, but he
That's
was
a bit-
disgraced. He lost all his titles.
I mean, it's still,
he
man.
became like
it was a. Well, he could have just endured with the lie, but I don't know. I don't really know his story that closely.
I mean, he's
But
a
I-
competitor. He
it-
wants to win
It
like
takes,
everybody else.
It takes a lot of courage
Yes.
to come out and confess something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was a very honorable decision. Not a lot of people would do that nowadays.
Well,
I
he
don't-
didn't just.
I don't feel like a lot of people would.
stop everything. He didn't go. You know that the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the movie The Pursuit of Happiness.
He waited until he collected all the benefits from the whole lie until he could.
Did he come clean in that movie? Because I'm thinking about this other movie. It's like
Liar. I'm just kidding.
no, but it was this one movie where he passes the bar exam and then he tells like everything that led up to it was a cheat. I forget the thing because I only know the Portuguese title.
I don't know.
When he redeems himself, he did pass the test and he did it without any cheating. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about the test. You had to be like part of a club, be good friends with this. I don't know. It was like it's a funny movie, but
Yeah.
did he do that in The Pursuit of Happiness? When does he come clean at any point? What come clean?
Pursuit
for
of
what?
Happiness? No. No, Pursuit of Happiness is the one with Will Smith.
Yeah, and Jaden.
Yeah. No, he doesn't
Never
cheat,
mind.
cheat
That
in the
was a
movie.
bad example then.
Yeah.
I guess I convoluted too. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, man. Life is it's a path full of struggles, and I feel like everyone. Some people don't, I guess, but everyone is just trying to find those
Meaning?
symbols and those ideas that drive them into becoming better people, a better version of themselves. And I feel like the idea of God is essential for that, in my way to see life. It's like the perfect model that I told you about before. If you don't have a
Giselle Bündchen.
model of if you don't have a model of perfection to base yourself to how do you say, like, to
aspire to.
yes, to aspire to, then I don't know what other tools that he could use. I don't know.
I mean, there's philosophy.
And also, it's not just a symbol of that. It's also it's the idea that we're all equal under something.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to fall
How
into,
socialist
I think.
end of an idea.
Well, no, not really.
We're all equal, and we're all the sons.
We're
of the
all
same
equal under
Father, which is not the
under
state.
under
It's,
God. You know, like everything exists under God. You know, so we're all equal in a sense, in a divine sense, in an existential sense.
And in communism, there's no the God. There's the state. And
There's a state, yeah.
It occupies the place of the God. So that's my easy joke.
Yeah, but see, God is still it's still an image of benevolence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, idea of benevolence. It's the message of Christ. You know, it's the virtues, the values, the principles. I don't know. They're all positive in a way.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
it's not like a vengeful, violent God. Have you ever played?
No.
Have you ever played? Oh, it's such a good game. What was it? It's the one that you were God, and it's such a classic. I used
God
to
of
love
War?
that game. No. You were just, and you would interact with the world with a little hand.
It's the hand of God. No, I don't know.
Black and White. It's called Black and White.
Hmm.
The game.
Never played that.
It was a great concept, and you had these people, and you had a choice. You could do good things, bad things, and your karma or like whatever tally would make you a benevolent god or like a vengeful god, a violent god. And you could sacrifice people. The younger they were, the more prey points you would get.
Jeez.
Or you would have people do tasks, or you would command people, inspire them. People would pray to you for help. Please, please, I lost all my sheep, and your hand would grab the sheep and just put it back in the den. or sometimes you had to like conquer or
That's funny.
quote unquote. You could choose to conquer or send missionaries. Then you would graduate for certain levels. It was a really cool, entertaining game that I played when I was a kid. Black and White, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Never seen it. Sounds cool.
You were too busy being Taekwondo champion.
Getting my face kicked.
I was busy being a nerd playing video games. Well, that was lovely to come back
Yeah,
to
dude.
our routine.
That's kind of a good conversation we had.
I think so.
Good amount of time. Almost
yeah.
2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. We're here every Wednesday. So, guys, that's our show. I hope you guys liked our little conversation here. Catch us all on Wednesdays, or if we change the schedule at the time that you're watching this.
Our
well,
topicless conversation.
Exactly. Let us know what you want us to hear about, talk about, comment on the box down below. And I guess we will see you on the next one.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please let us know if you like this episode. What are the topics that you guys want to listen to us talk about? Hopefully, we'll have more guests in the future, but we're just restructuring right now. I hope you guys like the new space. And yeah, leave us your like, not our like. Leave us your like, your comment, and please share.
Later, Warriors.
All right, guys.
Woo!
I'll see you next time. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
I am. Hello, Woke Warriors, and thank you so much for watching until the end. Don't forget to hit the like button. We invite you to join the conversation by writing a comment down below. And if you want to watch more videos like this, go ahead and click the links on the screen. We post a new video every Wednesday, so click that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out. And we'll see you on the next one.